We are the farmers.
What's up guys, DubWar here, and today I'm bringing you guys a follow-up video for the Valkyries return video that I made about 3 days ago. So what we were actually able to find out since then is basically all of the sneak peeks and all of the forum exclusive stuff, and what I think is going to be the biggest impact on the game for this Halloween update is the new permanent trap that we have, the skeleton trap. So as you guys can see here in my army camp, I do have the WiGoVaPe strategy. I basically just decided to call it that because it's simplest like that, and it makes sense because we is for witch and wizard, go for the golem, VA for the Valkyrie, and PE for the P.E.K.K.A. That's going to be in your clan castle, which is actually crucial, and I'm going to be explaining in this video why. As you can also see in my spell factory, or as you guys saw rather, I had 2 rage spells, 1 freeze, 1 lightning, and 1 jump. So it's a little bit of a jumble, and you're going to have to get good with kind of like switching between the spells a lot. But at the same time, if you know what you're doing in the raid, then it shouldn't be that big of a problem, because as you will see with the raids that we go for here today, it's you're gonna understand now why I really like this army composition setup and why it works really well. Now, it does actually suck up a lot of dark elixir, so I wouldn't actually recommend you use it very often, because I think every single raid you're spending about 3,000 or so. I kind of am just totally guessing right now. I really don't know exactly how much, but that's just an average prediction. I think it's about like 3,000 or maybe a little bit more than that, so it definitely isn't cheap, and I would only really recommend for you to use it if you're going to be using it for clan wars. Maybe if you're trophy pushing and you have the gems to buy yourself some more dark elixir or something like that, then yeah, this is definitely a really strong army composition setup, guys. Even though this is a base that's obviously premature, and it's this is a dead base. I mean, I really just kind of wanted to show you guys this raid because I didn't want to skip it or something. So yeah, this was just to show how, honestly, it's just complete demolition. And actually, one of the funny things I found in the name that I made for this army composition setup, which is WiGoVaPe, is if you kind of brought it out and spell it out for yourself, it's like we go vaporize. So this is literally vaporizing bases. So I don't know about you guys, I had a lot of tweets come out to me, and a lot of people were really depending on the Valkyries, and I saw people upgrading their Valkyries. Trust me, I know that there's a lot of people asking why did I do this and stuff like that. You know, there's nothing in this update to buff them or anything happening with the Valkyries. So let's get into that topic as to why do I think Valkyries are going to be so good. So since this update does have the new trap, which is the skeleton trap, I obviously got the chance to play around with it. I was at the Supercell headquarters, and I realized when I used GoWipe, it just doesn't work. Now, obviously, it's going to work for some people. Some people obviously are going to find their way around it. It is just going to be a lot harder, because think of it this way. If someone does put 3 of these traps right next to their town hall, and each trap sets off 4 skeletons, you're going to have to face up against 12 skeletons. So unless you have an extra lightning spell on you, your P.E.K.K.A.s are going to have a really hard time trying to go through all those skeletons that are going to be right in the very center. And by the time, you know, hopefully you have a wizard to take them out or something like that, but if you don't and you're really just dependent on your P.E.K.K.A.s, your P.E.K.K.A.s are going to have a really hard time, because all they're going to be doing is running around, and because they're so slow and there's 12 skeletons, your P.E.K.K.A.s are just going to be standing there kind of having like a stupid battle with basically skeletons, which it is, and your P.E.K.K.A.s are just going to take in a lot of damage. Meanwhile, they're trying to take out all the skeletons that are set up from the trap. So that's where my thoughts came in. I was like, what is something that would counter this? What is an army composition setup that would work against this trap? Because obviously GoWipe just isn't going to be that good anymore, as I've mentioned in my Valkyries return video. So Valkyries, if you guys haven't ever used them before and you don't know this, they actually do splash damage. And splash damage in the sense it's aerial damage, so anything that goes around in a circle of the Valkyrie, of course, if they run in between 2 buildings, they're going to do damage to both of those buildings and not just one. So P.E.K.K.A. will go up to one target and, you know, hit a clan castle, and it's not going to do any other damage in the area, like the town hall, for example, or something like that. But if a Valkyrie gets in between a clan castle and a town hall, she's going to start doing damage to both of them. And of course, if she does set off traps like the skeleton traps, and the skeletons get nearby her, she's just going to do one swing and it's going to take them all out like they're nothing. So that's where the strategy came in, guys. In case you guys are still confused as to what I'm talking about, I think you're just gonna have to wait for this update to come out and just see for yourself that Valkyries are gonna be the thing. Trust me. Now, there was a little bit of a fail here. My wall breakers did manage to get right to the very center compartment, so that jump spell really wasn't needed whatsoever. It's just kind of to show you guys, like, against a Town Hall 9 too, this army comp setup is just absolutely destructive, because Valkyries, I know they obviously don't have as much health as a P.E.K.K.A, but think about it, because there's so many Valkyries, there's 12 of them if you're going to use this exact army composition setup, you know, you're dealing with meaty, and they are quite meaty. Like, I can't say, you know, they're really squishy. They're kind of in between, like, I don't know. I really don't know off the top of my head how much health they have. I think they might have a little bit more than a giant. So the fact that they do a lot of damage and the fact that they have a lot of health really makes this troop actually quite convenient, in the sense that, you know, if you're going to be going up against high town hall levels, you're trying to go full out on people's bases, if you can deploy them correctly, try to protect them enough from, you know, whatever damage might be coming in from all the defensive towers a guy might have. Obviously, you're going to want your golems. That's why I do have the golems with me, and that's why this army comp setup is really expensive when it comes to Dark Elixir. Overall, it's really, and I can't even emphasize this, guys. Trust me, it's really good. So I'm definitely going to be using this for every single attack from here on out. GoWipe is kind of gone, and if you guys are longtime subscribers, you probably already know by now that GoWipe was one of my biggest and most popular army composition setups, and I was really good at that. So here's an example of a maxed out Town Hall 10 base. Now, take note that I don't have my clan castle, which is my P.E.K.K.A, which is something I always like to bring with me if I'm going to be using this army composition setup. So yeah, this was a little bit of a risk taker. Now, also take note that this guy has a lot of splash damage right in the very center of his base. He has 4 of his wizard towers right next to his town hall. So this is actually a very difficult base. It might not seem like it. Obviously, if you were to use GoWipe or something like that, then it is going to work on a base like this. Like, I would actually prefer to have GoWipe on a base like this. If I could choose between this or WiGoVaPe. I'm still trying to get used to that name. I like actually almost forgot it there for a second. But as you will see here, this is where destruction begins. Look at what happens under the rage spell. It is just absolutely disgusting. So basically, as soon as the Valkyries get up to that town hall and they get a good swing, a little bit of help from the Barbarian King as well, and I think the Archer Queen also went down. I didn't even get to use her ability, so that was another little mistake I did there. It is a maxed out base, which is something I'm not used to, but I wanted to test my ability. It is pretty easy to get to the town hall, as you guys can clearly see. So I don't know about you guys, I think this is an awesome update that's going to be coming around, and the fact that I think I found a really nice army composition setup for this is also going to make my game, you know, gameplay overall and video creations make a lot more interesting. So yeah, that's that, guys. That's all I really wanted to talk about today, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Also, I hope you guys didn't mind the little watermark on the bottom right corner. I'm just testing out the new app, or not the app, but Reflector. And also, I hope you guys like the new banner on the very left side. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, guys. Keep clashing, and I'll see you all later. What is this? Supercell ball pit. Bye bye.